Hello everyone, welcome back to Royal News Network. My name is Brittany and today we are talking about the chaos and the tragedy that is the Invictus Games and how kind of Harry's greed along with Meghan's has really kind of destroyed what these games stand for or are in the process of destroying it. Because instead of it being about the troops, Harry and Meghan are making it basically a money-making machine for them. That's the whole goal, is to make the Invictus Games, these troops, make money for them. That seems to be basically the only goal at this point. And so it's really, I think, damaged the games, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Invictus Games don't survive over the next couple of years. And so I actually filmed a video initially about the Invictus Games earlier because I actually was at the event in 2016. However, we've gotten a ton of news breaking this week, and so I thought it would be best to kind of reverse course. So I'll put in the little bits that I filmed about, my recollections of it, because I have an Invictus t-shirt, which I didn't wear on this trip. I'm actually on vacation filming this. There's actually a beautiful view of Waikiki Beach behind me, and so, or in front of me, I guess. It's so much better looking than what I usually look at when I'm filming, by the way. And so I just wanted to just kind of update it with this new information and just really kind of mourn the slow demise of this organization, probably, and just the demise of what it stood for, which was about helping the troops. That's not what it's about anymore. It's about helping Harry and Meghan make money. Money, money, money. That is seemingly the sole guide of Harry and Meghan at this point. And you kind of get it, because obviously they do need to make money because they've left the royal family. They have no skills and talents, and so they're really, really struggling in the big world out there because they have nothing so far really content-wise for either Spotify or Netflix. Their Spotify deal specifically almost went belly up, so much so that they had to twist Meghan's arm to finally get some sort of podcast out of her and Harry. And now this Netflix deal, they're going to be filming an Invictus documentary. They're going to be filming a documentary about the Invictus Games for Netflix, which they're getting kickbacks for. So it's just really sad to see this go from Harry's passion project to something that's just a way for him to make a buck. And so we'll be discussing that on today's video. And if you haven't been to Royal News Network before, my name is Brittany. We talk about everything related to royals, so that's news, gossip, fashion, television shows, even movies. We will all cover it here. And so if you want to subscribe, that would be great. We are growing, growing, growing. And I'll also be at the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. So I will be sharing some of the great insights and behind the scenes that you may not get to see anywhere else. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so one of the first things that broke is that Meghan and Harry will both be going to the games. This wasn't a surprise that Harry was going. Of course he was going. This is his organization. And so he started it in 2014, and it really, the first couple of years was just kind of a great reflection of focusing on the troops. And so this lasted though until Meghan entered the picture. When Meghan turned up at the Toronto Games in 2017, it was kind of all over for the Invictus Games. And so when she came in, it was just Harry's attention turned from the Invictus Games to solely to her, because I think that's kind of how their dynamic works. He has to be solely focused on her 100% of the time. And so the focus shifted, and then it kind of, the Toronto Games, that was kind of Meghan's kind of debut. Her and Harry walked around, and I didn't follow the Invictus Games as closely that year, which I'm kind of bummed about because it would be just nice to have the comparison, but it really did change to focus on Harry and Meghan, Meghan making her kind of big debut in that moment. And, she was, super casually dressed with ripped jeans, an oversized white t-shirt that was kind of popping out, and it's just, all sorts of a mess, which kind of became her signature look as a royal. And then in 2018, so when they were pregnant with Archie, they went on their Oceania tour, and according to all reports, Harry and Meghan really just were not involved, especially Harry was not engaged in anything. They gave a couple of speeches, they turned up at a couple of the events, but they were not involved much at all. These are reports from Tumblr, is that Harry was just, like, a lot of the troops were disappointed. Harry was just not engaged in the slightest in what was going on. And so, these games seem to be much of the same. They were originally scheduled for 2020. Obviously, they've been pushed back to this year. And so they'll be in The Hague, which is in the Netherlands. And so it was announced that Harry and Meghan will both be going. Again, Harry is not a surprise, but Meghan, of course, it's not a surprise either, because Meghan is anywhere she can have both attention and utter and complete control of her image and what goes on. And so that is definitely the Invictus Games. And so that her and Harry are going together, again, is not a huge surprise, although it is a bit of a disappointment, because it would have been nice to have just a little bit of separation. It would have been, it's not a surprise, but it's just kind of disappointing, because Meghan will really try to, she's just known for trying to steal attention. She wants the attention to be on her basically all the time. And so I think very much she will be wanting to be the center of attention at these games, which is really just a disappointment. And her and Harry will become very much the focal point, because they refuse to go to Prince Philip's service of Thanksgiving. They refuse to go visit the royal family, yet they'll go to this because it's about money. It's about money, money, and money. That's all they care about. And so that was kind of the first thing that broke, and people were like, yeah, but you know, you really should go visit your grandmother. That was the general sense of things. And then kind of things, you know, moved on, and we heard that Harry's organization, Better Up, will now be a partner with the Invictus Games Foundation. And so Better Up is kind of, oh my gosh, they call themselves, and this is just ridiculous in my opinion, they call themselves the Human Transformation Company. Human Transformation. Yes, because a multi-billion-dollar corporation that charges you $500 a month to have some sort of health coach, or not, mental health coach, mentoring, something that you can get for free in, you know, your company. Companies often have mentorship policies, or, you know, you can find somebody in your personal life, you know, church, all those sorts of things can be your mentor for free. But no, Better Up wants to charge you $500 a pop per month to have somebody virtually tell you what to do. It's great, great business plan. Anyways, they are now partnering with the Invictus Games Foundation. So obviously, Harry's getting a kickback now from Better Up for the Invictus Games. Isn't that lovely? So as part of their statement, they said, today, Better Up, the Human Transformation Company, I hate that so much, so bad, and inventor of virtual coaching and the Invictus Games Foundation, announced that they will be forging a new partnership, making Better Up the official mental fitness coaching tool of the Invictus Games Foundation. As part of this new partnership, Better Up will offer one-on-one coaching, live group programming, community support, and personalized assessment created and designed by PhDs and behavioral scientists that will support, encourage, and guide members of the Invictus community, made up of service members from around the world who have suffered life-changing injuries or illnesses. Wow, this goes on for a really long time. So obviously, Harry's now getting a kickback from this. Yeah. So the Invictus Games, from purely an altruistic standpoint, I mean, obviously, I don't want to, you know, misconstrue things, because somebody does have to make money in this situation, or at least offset costs. So the Invictus Games Foundation, which is a nonprofit, can offset costs through donations. But now you have Better Up. So Better Up, so is Harry getting a kickback from Better Up for partnering them with the Invictus Games? If he is, I mean, that should be in the donor report. If it's not, then that's just shady business practices right there. And it goes to show that the intention is not on the troops, but about what Harry can make off the troops. I think that's what the focus is here. And then we got another bit of news, and this is kind of damaging to Harry and Meghan. And so they will not be getting a private audience with the King of the Netherlands, the King and Queen, so that's King Willem-Alexander and Queen Maxima of the Netherlands. It really sounds like they are trying to distance themselves the best they can from Harry and Meghan. And so Harry and Meghan will not be staying at any one of the palaces. It's also come out today that Harry and Meghan, their private security will not be armed in the Netherlands. It's unclear maybe if the Netherlands will offer some auxiliary support for them, because obviously for kind of big events, sometimes that does happen where, you know, police are kind of dispatched to help manage, you know, big events like that. But, you know, the Netherlands generally is a very safe place, like the UK, unlike California or New York, by the way. And so that Harry and Meghan, if they're going to, you know, are they going to kick up a fuss? I mean, they look hypocritical if they don't kick up a fuss over this, but they kick over a fuss over in the UK. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And so, but again, they want to go to this because it is all about making money. And so, in the other aspect, the other way that Harry and Meghan are making money from this games this year is that they're filming it as part of a documentary for Netflix. It's already been announced that it's already been broadly reported, I should say, that a Netflix crew is going to the Invictus Games with them because they were going to do this documentary, Heart of Invictus. They announced that like well over a year and a half ago now. And so apparently, obviously they probably needed the games to help them with that. But, you know, if they're filming this documentary, this is the difference between royalty and celebrity, where Harry and Meghan are going, where their stuff no longer works. Them trying to be royal doesn't work in this situation anymore. So let's say Prince William was the patron of the Invictus Games and he was doing a documentary for Netflix about the Invictus Games. So granted, you know, they would use money that was donated to the Royal Foundation to do the filming aspects of it, and then they would give it to Netflix, and whatever profit Netflix makes or Netflix deems to purchase the property would go back into the Royal Foundation of the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge to go to various other charity endeavors and to continue supporting the Invictus Games. This documentary Harry and Meghan are doing, it's going back into their pocket. There's no way that, you know, unless they announce specifically that no money from that project will go to their bank accounts, they're now making money off the Invictus Games because that's really the only thing they have. And it really, I think, damages the games overall. And so let me just share with you a bit real quick. This is from the initial video I recorded. I'm wearing actually my Invictus shirt that I got at the games. And let me share with you some of my thoughts and my experience as well as there, because I really did truly enjoy it. So check out this, albeit longer clip, and then I'll pop back in later. I actually was at the Invictus Games in 2016. I actually have my Invictus shirt right here that I got in Orlando, and it was just something I wanted to do. I thought it was really cool to be able to see kind of a royal in person and support their events. I really love supporting our veterans and our troops. I think that's a fantastic thing to do. So I was really, really excited. Not only could I go and see a royal, which was really cool because I was super into royals, but I got to go to Disney World, and it was just kind of a fantastic time to really support our troops and be able to be at these games, which were super unique at the time and new. And it really was a fantastic event. There were some great photos from the 2014 one. And so when it was announced that would be in Orlando, you know, you have Disney World right there. It's like they had it at the ESPN Center. I don't know if it's the ESPN Center, but I'm sure there's something more to it than that. But they have a whole bunch of fields and everything. So it's a massive, massive complex. Because Disney World, if you've never been, it's just basically a giant mini city with the various parks. And then Disney just owns a ton of property. And this ESPN Center where they have like a lot of competitions. They had the NBA finals there a couple of years ago. They were having it there. So I thought, you know, me and my sister decided to go because we're like, oh, this is great because, you know, you can do multiple different things because you don't have to stay at the games the whole time. And so we went to the opening ceremony and we went to the sitting volleyball, which I actually really, really enjoyed. And then we went to swimming. And so it was just like a really, really fun trip. We were super, super excited. And so we went to the opening night and it was really cool because they had like paratroopers come down to start it. And there was just like so many troops and their families there. And you had Prince Harry speaking. I think Michelle Obama spoke as well. You just had so many people coming up to support our troops. And it was just like a really, really fun atmosphere. And then we went to kind of the sitting volleyball tournament because we were trying to decide what to do because we couldn't stay the whole time. And so we couldn't stay for wheelchair basketball, which I really wanted to stay for, but that was later. But we went to sitting volleyball, which I actually found really, really fun. And so we got to watch Georgia, I think Great Britain, the Netherlands, and the United States. I believe the United States won, if I remember correctly. But the Georgians put up a heck of a fight. So mad props to them. They were just, it was like, and the Dutch, you know, I love the Dutch because I love it. It's the Kingdom of Orange. They always wear orange, which I find hysterical. They're very, very nice. And you can tell they're not like super competitive, which is kind of funny. But I just really, really enjoyed watching it. I just thought everybody was great. There was such great camaraderie, just great support between everyone. And you really saw Harry interacting with all these soldiers from all these different countries and really, you know, offering his support, offering his encouragement. And so it was something that you just really, really appreciated. And so it was great fun to watch. I think we watched like the prelims and the finals. And so we were there like a good 3 or 4 hours. And it was just like an absolute blast. I really, really enjoyed it. Wasn't sure if I would. And we got tickets later to the swimming. Now I will say, after watching some of the swimming competition, I'm not necessarily a fan of watching swimming competitions. Not to anybody's offense. It just did not hold my attention quite as well. So I was wandering around the grounds and I saw Harry up close. And so I got a sneaky picture, which I'll share with you. Like, he totally knew I was there. I was trying to be stealthy and like totally failed. And so, but it's like, well, it's just so cool. You want to get a picture. And then when me and my sister were leaving, we were actually, because our flight out was that day, and we walked past him and he was chatting with an older woman and like an elderly woman. And he was just like very, very sweet. You know, people were asking for his picture and he's just like, yeah. And, you know, because they didn't quite do as many selfies at that point. And so he was really just fantastic. So engaged with these troops, with these veterans, and just really, really supporting them. And they need that, because oftentimes coming back from the battlefield, especially if you've had a devastating injury, it's very, very difficult. And so I just really was encouraged by his support and encouragement of the troops themselves and giving them this outlet, which I just thought was fantastic. All right, guys, so I hope you enjoyed that. I really did enjoy the Invictus Games. I thought it was wonderful, and I'm just so sad because I feel like Harry and Meghan really turning this into dollar signs instead of helping veterans and our troops is just so sad, and just really not only damages, you know, what these troops do and how they've sacrificed for our country, but really shows Harry and Meghan as just greedy. Like, everything about them is about making money. And I get it, they're on their own now, but they're still in this weird vein of using their royal connections and their royal patronages to try to prop up their bank accounts. And that's where kind of the rubber meets the road, and it's kind of a raw deal for everyone. So Harry, you know, and Meghan, what they should do is completely separate the Invictus Games, because obviously a lot of celebrities participate in, you know, various enterprises and charitable endeavors. I'm thinking of Gary Sinise. He does a lot with veterans as well. But what you really need to do is very much separate it. So anything Invictus related, Harry and Meghan should not get a penny for. It should be all going back into the Invictus Games Foundation. They should be making no money from it, even if they're doing the Netflix documentary. It's all above board in terms of everything goes back, either is taken and given back to the Invictus funds. Nothing is, or, you know, maybe they raise money just for the documentary purposes and then everything from Netflix goes into the pot for the Invictus Games. That's how it should work. Just to keep everything above board, to make sure that there is a separation between what this great organization is doing and Harry and Meghan's money-making enterprises, that they're combining them, especially with Better Up connection. So Harry's probably getting a kickback from that because he made the connection, because maybe even Harry is getting money every time a company signs up because of him. He gets a kickback from that, or an individual person, because supposedly he's coaching Serena Williams. And so if that happens, then he gets a kickback. And so if Harry's getting a kickback from Better Up, is he connecting the Invictus Games with Better Up because it's best for the troops or because it's best for his bank account? That's where the problem is. And so that's why this whole thing doesn't work. So again, guys, I just want to say I am super supportive of the Invictus Games, the troops, but I just wish Harry and Meghan had made their separation between the Invictus Games and themselves clear in terms of finances. And I really wish it just had stayed with the Royal Foundation and just not gone with Harry. I think the Harry connection, you know, is really kind of downgrading the games. The king and queen, you know, won't meet with Harry and Meghan. Obviously, there's going to be a representative at the opening ceremonies, but it actually won't be the king. So Princess Marguerite of the Netherlands, she'll be going to the opening ceremonies. King Willem-Alexander will be going to the closing. But I don't think we'll see the king and queen actually much during the games, because it's clear people just don't really want to be associated with Harry and Meghan, especially those who have close connections with the crown. They want to keep their connections with the crown. Harry and Meghan basically are rogues at this point, that people just kind of go, yeah, I kind of want to support you, but I also think some of what you're doing is shady, so I don't know where we stand on this. So Harry and Meghan, I think, have truly damaged their own brand by attacking the queen, attacking the royal family, and one of the fallouts might be that the Invictus Games just doesn't make it after a while. They're going to Dusseldorf next year. Again, I hope for the sake of the troops that the Invictus Games can keep it together. But I really think they need to jettison Harry and Meghan, because at this point, Harry is just bringing them down. There was a report, and again, I don't approve of this, but I understand also what happened is that, I shouldn't say approve, but you know, it is kind of unfortunate what happened, but Harry had a video on Twitter with some of the troops from the UK team, and there were a lot of attacks against Harry and I think some of the troops as well. And of course they had to come out and say, well, you know, you can't do that. I think most of it was aimed at Harry, because Harry just brings a negative bent. He is no longer the golden child. He no longer has this broad support. He very much is basically kind of damaged goods in terms of a brand. And so I think for the future and the Invictus Games to really succeed, they need to let go of Harry and Meghan, because at this point, they're just bringing them down. And I will end on finally on this. This just goes to show that Harry and Meghan, at the end of the day, they're all about the money. If Harry and Meghan refuse to visit the Queen but have gone to the Invictus Games, it shows that all they care about is their bottom line. That's all Harry and Meghan care about, which is incredibly, incredibly sad, because I think they could still be very, very charitable, but they don't really have the talent, the skills really necessary to create other things that can bring them money at this point. Meghan can hustle, I'll give her that, but she doesn't really have much else in terms of creative talent that we've seen so far. Most of their projects, I would assume, are behind schedule. And so that's just not boding well for either Spotify or Netflix. And I imagine some people won't watch the documentary just based on the fact that it's Harry and Meghan. And so, you know, it's just very much a sad state of affairs, because Harry really had a fantastic thing going with the Invictus Games. So many people supported him, but I think we'll see fewer and fewer prominent names at the Invictus Games every year. And people will kind of try to keep their distance, or at least try not to associate very much with Harry and Meghan. And so anyways, guys, let me know what you think about this video. So sorry, I was in my hotel room, got interrupted because there was some maintenance thing. And so anyways, guys, I hope you liked this video, and I look forward to seeing you guys again super, super soon. Bye.